Life is pain, life is pain. Playing Inferno is a pain. It is breaking my brain to the fullest extent. Really bad at singing, but do you know what's worse? Playing the Inferno. And I really hate saying that because I think this is a super cool mecha. The weapons, the design, the way that it has this sort of swagger to it. It walks around with 2 big guns, the chest lasers, and more guns on the back. So it's definitely not afraid to show off. However, against these champion level bots, none of that matters. I am playing at a level where the sniper AI does have a bit of an aimbot wall hack thing going on. You know how it is. They're still probably going to balance that, hopefully. So it's really hard to play Inferno at this stage because, well, I made bullet points. Bullet point number 1. Bullet point number 1 is the Inferno does take too long to do his damage. As you can see here with a splitter laser, it takes around 3-4 seconds to fully do its damage. While that's a lot of deeps to a lot of people, it also only hits shields. And if you've seen my Achilles video, you'll know that the Achilles has a bit of shield penetration with his weapons. And that's really important because you want to damage their health directly. You don't get health back unless there is a Tricera or Illuminate. So having health damage onto the enemy is lasting. It's an everlasting effect. When you're doing shield damage, it's less so, and enemies can start to regen shields very fast. So when the Inferno does damage, it does it slowly, and it does shield damage first, then health damage, which means that during the time that you manage to tickle the enemy with your puny spread laser, they'll take 5, maybe 10 seconds out of combat, and they'll get it all back. It's immensely frustrating, too, that the abilities of the Welkin can be easily interrupted. You just see me trying to cast something right there. Nope, interrupted by the Panzer. Get fucked, me. I don't get to use my ability. And there's a lot of things in the game that can interrupt your Infernal abilities, which is kind of sad and extremely frustrating when you're trying to play this mech. Now, I'm not saying that the Inferno is a dog poop, but I am saying that playing this thing, especially the higher you go in terms of difficulty, is torture. It's actually just torture. I don't know how else to put it. You deal shield damage, if you get extremely lucky like that, you can do a lot of damage, but only for somebody else to finish them off and you get the assists. So that's not very fun. And the fact is, because you're only doing energy damage and not like melee damage, and because you don't have any shield penetration, you're always going to be sort of doing stuff to set yourself up, or doing stuff to set your melee carries up. You'll never have that full burst potential by yourself. And I feel really bad about that. When I activate the chest laser with the overboost on, it will never ever kill anything from full health. It will do a lot of damage, bring them down to probably 50 to 25% off if I can get the full burst off, which is, it rarely happens, but this is definitely not something that can solo a enemy striker. Which you might be asking, hey, isn't there that doesn't sound too bad. That encourages like teamwork. This thing isn't OP. Well, the problem is there's so many mechas in the game that actually can solo kill really well. The Elysinus, the Welkin, the Narukami, the Achilles, especially as a ranged DPS. all of the melees can do it. The range snipers can do it. Hell, even the Tricera can most of the time outlast the enemy for, you know, solo kills and stuff. So having the Inferno be as immobile as the Tricera, not as tanky as the Tricera, doing damage, sure, but only shield damage, which means that it is not guaranteed to be everlasting, while putting yourself in a position of getting countered because you move so slowly. You're basically at a crawl when you're activating abilities. It's a hard thing to sell. It's a very, very hard thing to sell, and I'm just not feeling it. I don't feel this. This is probably my least favorite striker in the entire game right now, and I'm really sad about that, because this is such a cool mecha. The design is really, really nice. But I do have to mention that perhaps this would be a more fun mecha if the primary weapon of this thing did any goddamn damage. When you're not activating your abilities, you do nothing. These big, cool looking beam rifles do tickle damage, and when they hit, if they hit, by the way, if they hit, because their accuracy is actually bad, if they hit, they typically have, you know, it's like it's a little tickle bit of damage. It's not much, and that makes it so that when your abilities are cooldown, you're extremely vulnerable. And when you are trying to finish a kill and not use your abilities, you're basically never going to be able to do that. I mean, come on, just look at this. I'm trying to spam as fast as I can, and all I can get is hearing not available, not available, not available. It's a DMR that you can't spam to unlock the true fire rate of this thing. It's very, very set in stone what the fire rate is going to be, and you can't even fire them both at the same time. You have to go tick, 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 tick. It's not like the killer sniper rifle when you go boom, 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 boom. And I actually think that the fire rate is less than the killer sniper rifle, and that's just sad, man. Like, I'm never going to be able to use all 15 of those rounds because the fire rate is so slow. If they buff the fire rate of the main weapon, this mecha might be better, actually more consistent that way. But I think there's a lot of things that need to change for the Inferno to be actually quote-unquote good, right? There's a discrepancy between melee and range carries at the moment, where melees are extremely good against some targets and ranged are extremely good versus most targets, but there's always different engagement ranges where that could be. However, the main benefit of playing a melee character is that you just essentially like ignore shields altogether. You don't interact with shields. Shields is a non-factor. You only deal with the health bar, and that's really weird in my opinion. I don't know about that. Mostly just because it gives melees a much easier time to solo anybody, and when you get caught in melee, it's extremely hard to, you know, try to, I guess, follow up a teammate. But I'll talk about that later. I have another video coming up that's going to be extended script saying. Right now we're talking about the Inferno, and you can see the Inferno can't kill this Tricera. It can't do it. It just can't do it. It doesn't do enough damage. The Tricera just keeps locking down and unlocking new shields, and it just got healed because of the heal drones. I can't kill this Tricera. It's not happening. It's just not happening. Look at this. How do people think that this is okay? I've had people defend the Inferno in front of me. I'm like, how do you, dude? How do you defend this? You can't. Well, to be fair, just to counter myself a little bit. Just to be fair, entirely fair. Tricera is really hard to solo kill. It is one of the toughest mechas in the game, and I think really only the Welkin can 1v1 it without a much problem, since the Welkin has a lot of damage and also the spin maneuver, which puts down a lot of melee DPS. But the Inferno, oh, you know what it's like? It's like when you're going to, if you ever had like a Nerf gun fight with your friends, right? You see some people with the machine gun Nerf guns, you know, and you see some people with the new stuff, with the better darts that fly faster and, you know, punch a little harder. And you're stuck with the recon. I hope you guys know what I'm talking about. It's the single sort of like bolt action one shot rifle thing that has a lot of attachments, but initially only came with a 6-round magazine. You're rocking the recon while your friends are rocking the machine gun or the Nerf sword. This thing feels like I'm not being impactful at all. I'm doing shield damage, nothing long lasting. My big chest laser is easily interruptible. I have no ability to capture and stand on points or objectives because I'm too squishy. Actually, the Inferno doesn't have as much health as the Tricera or anything, so it's just like, what is this? What am I supposed to do with this? I don't know. Nice, 69. But yeah, maybe I'm just bad, and you can probably tell me that I'm horrible and I don't know how to use this thing. But unless you fought against the champion level AI and their, you know, insane amount of snipers and stuff like that, or if you fought a lot of real people with this, I don't want to hear it. Okay, I don't want to hear that I'm bad. I know that the Inferno can work against a lot of easy level AI. I put it through the arena. They're super dumb and you can blast them easily with the Inferno. But man, just look at this thing. Just look. It's super cool. The design, the decals, the way that the cannons are folded onto the back, the way that it holds its rifles. It's just got so much swagger, you know? And it's symmetrical enough to look just so good. My God, this is probably the best looking mecha in the game, in my opinion anyways. Probably I like the ooh, the Panzer also looks pretty good. But anyways, let's go over the weapons. First, the PP guns, the water guns, the Nerf guns. This is the energy autocannon. This is the worst primary in the damn game. It misses quite a lot. It's not rapid fire. And alright, the splitter. It's a nice weapon, targets up to 12 people, and also intercepts projectiles. Easy, boom, done. The next one we're going to be talking about is the bread and butter of Inferno, reflector drones. They should have just called this the chest laser, because that's exactly what it does. It fires an extremely large beam that damages the enemy, only targets ones though. Then we have the booster kit. Now this is the thing that is your defense kit, your mobility kit, and your extra damage kit. It allows you to put down probably around 50% more damage with all of your abilities as it pushes you to the limit. Here you can see the Tricera is firing at me. Boom, pop that. The shield regen will continue even being fired at. And you basically have a large amount of energy to run away with. But the best use of this thing is to boost your damage when you are firing the chest laser. Now, I want to show you something. I want to show you how squishy the Inferno is, alright? Imagine you're fighting a Welkin. You're fighting this guy. He's pretty far away, like 200 meters. You pop the laser. Okay, the bot is getting into cover, and then you probably should back up at this point, but this is just a testing. And then you get interrupted, stunned, alright? Ability gone. It's a 8-second cooldown. Look at that dash! What the is that? How are you? Oh man. Yeah, and then boom, you're done. Inferno, done. I really hope they change this name before release, but please get some water, touch some grass, and I'll see you next time. Ciao.